Folks, Chris Rich, AZ Fly Shop. Welcome back to the channel. Got a very special guest with me today, Cinda Howard, premier guide in the White Mountains of Arizona. I've spent a lot of time fishing with Cinda in the White Mountains. She's guided with my dad. I've been in her schools. I've helped her with her schools over the years. Just have had a fantastic relationship. I first met Cinda at Orvis many years ago. I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was how many years?
Probably 12. I've been guiding full time for 8 years, and then I was at Orvis for 8 years before that. So at least somewhere between 8 and 16 years ago.
It was quite a while ago. I think I was buying a 7-weight Helios. They didn't have the H2 or the H3 at that time. I remember that. And just connected with her well, got some good advice on casting, like really improved my cast from spending just a little bit of time with her. Still enjoy the rod that I bought with her. I've caught a lot of fish with it. Anyhow, now we've got AZ Fly Shop opening up. And I've kind of been through the journey with Cinda, decided to become a guide. We had a lot of conversations about that. It's been fantastic to watch her have success with her guiding business. If you haven't had a day fishing with Cinda, I highly recommend you have a day fishing with Cinda.
Thanks, Chris.
Like, you will learn a ton about fly fishing. You'll learn a ton not only about fishing Arizona waters, but you'll just learn a lot about fishing, like fly fishing, what that looks like. I've fished with guides all over the world. I am a huge proponent of fishing with guides. I probably don't need a guide, right?
Nope, you don't.
Yeah, I don't need a guide. And when I go to a new water, I get a guide. I don't try to do it on my own. And I found that I always learn from guides.
You know, Chris, when I started fly fishing, I was lucky enough to meet up with some people who like to go on guided trips. And that's really how I learned so much about the sport myself, is getting guides, because those people, they know their water, they know the bugs, the hatches, the fish behavior. And so you learn so much more than you really can on your own in such a short period of time.
Right.
And just like you, when I go to new water, I also get a guide. And I have guided a lot of guides who come to our waters, because we know that the quickest way in to learning that water and that environment is going with someone who lives there, who fishes it all the time, who guides it, and is just really familiar with that environment.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits to having a guide, in my opinion. I've fished in Slovenia. I've fished in the Spanish Pyrenees, the chalk streams in England. And so, for me, another benefit is when I'm with a guide, for example, in Slovenia. I mean, I'm there on a tour, I'm there on a trip as a tourist in the country of Slovenia, and I happen to go fishing for a couple of days, and I spend a couple of days with somebody that grew up in that country. And so I actually get a real flavor for what it's like to be in that culture, right? You get connected to that person throughout the day. So there's a lot of benefit. I've also found for myself, I've fished with so many guides that from time to time, I hand off tips from one guide to another. Like everybody's got their little tips, that their favorite little things that they do. So anyhow, I highly recommend, if you haven't fished with Cinda, you get a day with Cinda. Fly Fish Arizona and Beyond on Facebook, and Instagram.
Yep, and my website's just flyfisharizona.com.
Flyfisharizona.com. So you probably know Cinda, you probably heard of her. If you haven't fished with her, I highly recommend it. Now, we decided to open up AZ Fly Shop.
Yep.
Right?
And the community, I can't tell you, with my clients and my friends, how excited everyone is to have a fly shop opening in town. And I've been telling everyone about it. The buzz is crazy. And I think, we went a period of time without a fly shop in the community. And I think what happened was people realized how important that is, that personal touch, and being able to walk in a shop and ask about fishing a certain place or flies, or being able to put a fly rod in your hand. We've all kind of gone to ordering online because we don't have many other choices, but it's not personal. And you end up with a rod you don't like, and then it's a hassle. And when you can walk in a shop, pick up a rod, put it in your hand, go cast, dream about it, to come back and buy it. Those things are really important. And I really think that this community is going to reach out to you guys, and they're going to frequent your shop because it's important to have.
Right.
You can't, email somebody online and say, how is Woods Canyon fishing?
Right.
That doesn't happen. And so just having that personal relationship and having a place to go to get advice is really important. And I know so many people are really, really excited about this, which is why they're already showing up here wanting to shop, and you're not even open yet. There's just so much excitement in this community.
And I'm super excited about it. I get it. I have a lot of fly rods. I like high-end fly rods. However, I'm not willing to go spend $900 or $1,000 online for a fly rod that I haven't had in my hand, right? And so there's nowhere in Phoenix that you can do, nowhere in Arizona that you can go do that. Well, you can do it in Tucson. I take it back. You can definitely do it in Tucson. You can't do it at Cabela's. You can't do it at Bass Pro. They don't do that anymore. At one time they did. They don't do it anymore. And so I saw a real missing. And the other thing for me was really to be able to create a community around fly fishing, a place where people could connect, they could meet other people, because there's all different levels. I've been fly fishing since I was 4 or 5 years old, taught myself. I just had an interest in it. And but there's people that are wanting to just, hey, I'd love to learn to fly fish, but I don't know what to do, where to start. And we really want to fuel that obsession and breed that obsession. So people that have been fishing for a long time, we love to learn from you. We'd love to have you to be able to contribute to also the people that are just wanting to start out. And hey, how do I do this and where do I go? So I'm excited. We've had a great outreach from the community. I was out, Cinda and I went on the canal yesterday. I was waiting in a park for Cinda to show up, and the park ranger for Gilbert Parks drives by. He rolls down his window. He says, hey, when is that fly shop gonna open? He must have been watching the videos. I love the feedback that I've gotten from all of you. Our goal, our commitment is to be the friendliest fly shop in the world, and our commitment and goal is to serve you, the fly fishing community of Arizona.
And speaking of that, I kind of would like to touch base a little bit and just make sure everyone knows that obviously, when we think of fly fishing, we think of you, we think of the, men, because this is an outdoor sport, and there are a lot of, obviously men who are in this sport. But the fast and growest component, as you already know, is women in fly fishing. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that we are going to be represented in this shop. I mean, I've already been shopping and it's not even open. I found a t-shirt I love with your logo on it. I found a hat from Sims that I've fallen in love with, And
I love it.
Right. And
you bet. We love it. We love it.
And so, just so everyone knows, because we haven't been well represented in Arizona anywhere, and it is difficult. My difficulty has been I've been fly fishing now, 25 years. And it's always been tough to find clothing, to find waders, to find boots, to find things that fit us. And of course, the answer has always been, well, just buy men's stuff. Well, I don't have a size 12 men's shoe,
Right.
So it's been difficult. And so, having this shop here where you can walk in and try on a pair of waders, try on some clothing, for women, it's going to be a game changer, and that's really, really exciting because, you hear about that. And when I talk to other women who fly fish, there's always that complaint that they can't find gear. And then sometimes it's how they're treated when they walk into a fly shop, like there's no way a woman could know what they're doing. And I know you personally, and I know the guys that are working in your shop personally, and I know that they would never, ever, ever talk to women that way and treat women that way, that everyone that walks in this store is going to be valuable. If they're experienced, they're going to hopefully recognize that experience.
Right.
And that's important. And I think that we really need that in this community, especially how fast that dynamic is growing for women fishing.
Women in fly fishing is the fastest component in fly fishing. It's amazing how fast it's growing, which I think is awesome. I think it's outstanding. And really, probably a lot, maybe one of the pioneers, at least in Arizona, right?
Oh, I appreciate that.
In a big way.
Yeah.
We're absolutely committed to serving the community. Men, women, in between, wherever you're at, right? Experienced, beginners, kids for certain. I've had a lot of people, I've had several groups contact me that want to serve the kids and even foster kids, some charities, and I'm certainly inclined to be involved in that. I'm on several charitable boards, and the kids and foster kids, tugs at my heartstrings in a big way. And so any way that we can contribute into that, we're committed to doing that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited that the manufacturers are producing, clothing that fit women. They're producing waders that fit women. I know, there's a lot of controversy around, people should be able to decide. Yeah, they should be able to decide. However, there is a little different fit for you than there is for me, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just how we physically are made up. And so we definitely have women's waders in stock, women's gear in stock. And if we don't have it, we'll work to get it, right? So I'm excited to be able to serve the entire community, especially women. And Cinda's excited she found a hat she likes.
Right. Oh my gosh, that hat is awesome. And I have a really small head. The problem with some of the hats that come out these days is they're women's colors, but they're actually men's fitted hats. And so I find this beautiful hat I like, I put it on, and I have a pin head. My son always complains that he inherited my head because I can wear my grandson's hats. And he's 4 years old. That's how small my head is. Yeah. And so I just need a women's fit. And being able to walk in here and just immediately get drawn to this hat and put it on and it fits. I mean, I know that sounds weird and that may sound really small, but for me and for probably other women in this sport, it's a big deal when we find stuff that actually fits us, looks good on us, and that we like.
Right.
And having that close and available is going to be really important.
Awesome. Well, hey folks, I appreciate you watching the video. We're excited to get the shop open. Give us your feedback, what you want to see in the shop, what you want us to be, because we're here, we're going into business to serve you, the fly fishing community. Cinda and I are going to go out and hit the canal. We're going to chase some grass carp, common carp, even maybe a catfish. I've caught a few catfish on the fly rod in the past few weeks. So what we say here is the tug is the drug.
Right, and let's stop shooting this video. Let's go fishing.
It's time to go fishing, folks. You bet. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good seeing you guys.
See you on the next